Today for our inventions, we're going to read Papa's Mechanical Fish, written by Candace Fleming and pictures by Boris Kulikov. I want to thank Noah and his family for letting us borrow this book. We were going to read it as a class, so now we get to read it now online. So here it is, Papa's Mechanical Fish.
Oh, that's cute.
The dog with the sock. All right, this is my Papa, and this is his backyard workshop where he spends his days thinking, tinkering, and inventing things. Hear that? Clink, clankety bang, thump, whir. That's the sound of Papa at work. Clink, clankety bang, thump, whir. There he is. Sometimes Papa tries inventing helpful things, like collapsible coat hangers that are easy to store. And sometimes he tries inventing unusual things, like edible socks. And sometimes he tries inventing playful things that only just don't work, like steam-powered roller skates. He forgot to put the brakes on. Oops.
Someone's going to notice this.
Oh,
That's the same picture.
It is. It's not the magic page, but it is from there. But not once has Papa invented anything that works perfectly. I will someday, Papa tells me. All I need is a fantastic idea. But fantastic ideas are not easy to come by. So Papa twiddles with his tools and pulls his hair. He racks his brain, sighs, and stares until one day he throws down his screwdriver. Enough thinking, he cries. Who wants to go fishing? Sometimes you need to take a break when you can't think. I do, I holler. Me too, says my brother Cyril. Don't forget me, adds my sister Mary. My dada, squeals the baby Wilhelmina. Woof, barks the bulldog Rex. I'm so glad I brought along these poles, said Mama. And there they all go. We all troop out to the lighthouse pier and drop our lines into Lake Michigan. Plop, 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 plop. Papa, I say as we're waiting for a bite, have you ever wondered what it's like to be a fish? A fish, he mutters. A fish? Uh-oh, squeals the baby. Papa's pole clatters to the pier. He leaps to his feet. He whirls me around. Verena? That's not even her name, but maybe it is. You're brilliant, he whoops. And then he's gone, racing back over the sand dunes to his workshop. I wonder what he's going to do. They're left to fish. Clink, clankety, bang, thump, whir. Ta-da! Cries Papa a few weeks later. He opens his workshop doors to reveal, what is it, I ask? It's an underwater vessel, he explains. A mechanical fish. I will dive like a salmon. I will glide like a trout. Papa's mechanical fish is so small, he barely fits inside. There's a picture of it on his drawing. It has a tube sticking out the top so he can breathe, and it has a pole sticking out the bottom so he can push himself along the lake floor. I call it the whitefish, he says. But will it work? What are your thoughts? The hole at the bottom for a stick and a hole at the top for breathing. Let's find out. We kept our fingers crossed. Goodbye, Papa, we wave. Farewell, family, he waves back. And then the whitefish is launched. Sploosh. But glub, glub, glub. Papa swims back to the pier. It almost worked, he says.
Look at the dog.
He's like, Almost, I agree. I think for a minute. And then I ask, Papa, how do fish move through the water? With their tails, said Cyril. With their fins, added Mary. Fishy go, squeals the baby. Woof, barks Rex. I'm so glad I brought along this towel, said Mama, and she wraps it around Papa's shoulders. But he is too deep in thought to notice. And what do you think he's going to do? Uh-oh. Clink, clankety bang, thump, whir. Behold, the whitefish too. It is big enough for 2 people to sit in. It has a wooden fin on top and a wooden propeller in back. Papa pedals it like a bicycle to make it go. Goodbye, Papa, we wave. Farewell, family, he waves back. And when the whitefish too is launched, sploosh. It dives below the surface. Swoosh. So it's a little bigger this time. Crack, drip, splinter, rip, Papa bobs to the surface. It almost worked, he hollers to us. Almost, I holler back. I think again and ask, Papa, how do fish stay dry? With special skin, asked Cyril. With scales, add Mom. The baby squeals, the dog says, woof. I'm so glad I brought along this life preserver, says Mama, and she tosses it to Papa. But he is too deep in thought to notice. So what do you think he's going to fix now on the next one? Whitefish 3, maybe? Clink, clankety, bang, thump, whir, behold, the Whitefish 3. Look, it's bigger. Check that out. It's big enough for 3 people to sit in. It has a plunger to make it go up and down, and it has a steering wheel to make it go left and right. It has levers instead of pedals, and it is covered in waterproof copper. Goodbye, Papa, we wave. Farewell, family, he waves back. Then the Whitefish 3 is launched. Sploosh, it dives, swoosh, it chugs beneath the whales. Clackety, clackada, clackada. But, oh no. Crump. Papa clings to a buoy. It almost worked, he says minutes later, as we pull him into the rowboat. Almost, I say. I think some more, then I think some more, and then I ask, Papa, how do fish know where they're going? Can they see underwater? Do they have good eyes? Peekaboo, squeals the baby. Woof, barks Rex. I'm so glad I brought along these oars, said Mama, and she rows toward shore. But Papa is too deep in thought to notice. Now he barricades himself in his workshop. Clink, clankety, bang, thump, whir. He does not come out. Thank, clunk, whack. We cannot go in. Tap, tap. He even covers the window so we can't peek. Zap. What's the big secret, I ask. Wait and see, Papa says. Just wait and see. Clink, clankety, bang, thump, whir. At last, he flings wide open the workshop doors. Surprise! Oh, we gasp. Oh, we couldn't wait. Let's see. Now we get to see. Are you ready? What? The Whitefish 4 is big enough for 7 people to sit in. It has an air cooling system and an air compression system and an air purifying system. It has a steam boiler to run the engine and a battery to run the headlights. It has velvet carpeting and comfortable chairs. Along its length are a dozen portholes so they can see. Papa grins. Who wants to go for a ride? I do. Me too. Don't forget me. Go bye-bye, squeals the baby. Woof, barks Rex. I'm so glad I brought lunch along, says Mama. Mama's always prepared. One by one, we drop down through the hatch. Then Papa seals it behind us, takes his place at the controls, and sploosh, swoosh, clickety, clackada, clackada. Wow.
That's cool.
So what does this invention remind you of? Let's keep reading. We'll read some more. Hours later, yay, we rose to the surface. We glide to the beach. We spread out a blanket and feast on ham sandwiches. Papa, I say between mouthfuls, that idea was absolutely, positively fantastic. Brilliant, says Cyril. Clever, adds Mary. Yay, squeals the baby. Woof, barks Rex. I'm so glad you brought me along, says Mama, and she gives Papa a big, big smooch. Then a seagull flies over. I toss in it my bread crust. Have you ever wondered what it's like to be a bird? I ask. A bird, Papa mutters. A bird? Uh-oh, squeals the baby. I wonder what he'll invent next. Clickety, clackety, bang, thump, whir. So even though this story, I'm going to read this a little bit, was fiction, it's actually based on a true story. In the summer of 1851, an inventor named Laudner Phillips really did take his wife and their children for an afternoon excursion beneath the waves of Lake Michigan. No one knows why Philip became so obsessed with building a, what do you think? What was it like? Submarine, if you said that, you're right. But for years, he worked at making his dream come true. His first attempt was nothing more than a wooden hull that moved by simply pushing a pole along the lake's bottom. And it sunk, just like in the story. But Phillips kept trying, and he kept trying. And he built what he called it, the Whitefish. While it was not the first modern submarine, Phillips did make many important improvements in its design. His innovation included a steering system that allowed the submarine to go left and right, rather than just forward and backward. Phillips patent his new improved submarine. So remember we talked about patents, so that way only it's his idea on that particular part. And he offered it to the United States Navy, but the Navy wasn't interested. They claimed they wanted only boats that rode on top of the water. That changed. Philip went on to patent other underwater inventions like diving armor for bringing up treasure from shipwrecks, an underwater cannon that could be attached to the outside of a submarine during wartime, and even a machine for making plastic buttons. Not all of his inventions had to do with submarines. As for the submarines he built, they were lost in history until 1915. That year, wreckers digging in the Chicago River, which runs into Lake Michigan, made a startling discovery. A submarine lay half buried in a river's muddy bottom, and when it was raised up, many people, including members of Philip's family, claimed it had been built by the inventor just before his death. Placed on daily display in the Chicago storefront, it could be seen for just 10 cents. That was a long time ago. Eventually, the submarine was sold to Parker's greatest shows, the traveling carnival that exhibited across the Midwest. But what happened to the submarine next is anyone's guess. It simply slipped from history and was never seen again. So, a fiction story based on true life stuff. That was an awesome book. Thank you, Noah, for sharing that with us.